Hello there, it's Carrie Rhoades here. Welcome back to the Trinity Stamps YouTube channel. In today's paper crafting video, I'm going to be making these super cute, spooky treat boxes. I'm using the Trinity Treat Box, and I'm also going to be using a shaker add-on, but then one more thing is the new spooky add-on. So we're going to jump right in and start with the original die, which is the Trinity Treat Box. You're going to die cut 2 of these to make 1 box. And before I do any of that, I'm spritzing my gray paper with some mica spray stain and giving it a nice coating of shimmer. I'm also splattering it. This is from the brand new Halloween mica spray collection, but really you could put any spray on there, any shimmer, or leave it plain. It's just a fun thing I like to do. So this is the spooky treat box add-on, so you can turn the treat box into a haunted house. You can see all the fun dies we have here, different windows, different curtains, window sills, some accents for the door and the step, some pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns, a ghost, a little witch, accents for the roof, and I'm going to show you all of these pieces up close so you can see just what they look like for when you are creating a haunted treat box. So there are window frames, but then there's also solid panels to go behind them. I'm going to spray mine with some Distress Mica Spray Stain in Flickering Candle. Was like the perfect color to go behind, so it's going to be shiny. I'm doing the thing where you push down on the nozzle halfway so you get bigger splatters, and then also a fine mist. I'm going to let those dry. We'll come back to them later. And then I wanted to show you the door. It does open, so if you glue it down just around the frame, you'll have a door that opens, but there's also panels to accentuate that piece that you can layer up so it looks more realistic, like an actual door with steps. We have these shredded curtains. I think they're amazing. I'm totally using those today. We have this piece which creates wood so you can have your windows like boarded up. So cool. This is the windowsill. So there's a piece that goes at the top of the window and at the bottom. This is a little lantern that you can put a light in on either side of the door. It's so beansy, so don't lose that. You can add a little witch to the window or a ghost. And then we've got our 4 pumpkins, 2 jack-o'-lanterns and 2 solid pumpkins. And to go with the jack-o'-lanterns, there are pieces that you can die cut in a contrasting color to put behind there. So an orange jack-o'-lantern with a yellow piece behind it, for example. These are the accent pieces for like a roof line. They're really cute. I love all things scalloped, so I'm definitely doing that. Now let's start putting some of these pieces together. So I have the witch that's just a silhouette. I'm going to put that on the yellow part of my window, and then I'm going to take the window frame and add the curtain to the back of that. Now I really want the witch to show, so what I did is I just kind of eyeballed it and then I scooted it up and cut off any excess, so this curtain's a little bit smaller, so you can totally adjust the size of your curtains if you want it like mine, where I have the curtain and the witch in there, so it's a little bit more spooky. She's a little more hidden. And then I'm adding those windowsill and frame pieces around the top and the bottom to complete this. So lots of layers, and it is just totally cool. I mean, so fun. Here's the other one with the full curtain and nothing in that window. I also have 2 windows I'm going to put on the side of the box, and they're going to be boarded up. And I like when you do a haunted house, you don't have to worry about things being perfectly straight. Okay, the other window frame is the rounded one that goes in the door. I already put the sprayed yellow piece inlaid it into the door and then put the frame over the top. Then we have this pointed window that's going to go on like the top of the box. There are my jack-o'-lanterns, and now that the box is dry, we can start assembling all the things. So to assemble this box, it is super simple. You want 2 strips of double-sided or rip and stick tape on each box, one on the tab and one on the smaller flap. So then you can add the 2 boxes or put the 2 boxes together by just sticking it down to that tab. Very easy. Before I put the whole thing together, I'm going to go ahead and do some decorating, and I'm starting with that roof. So to create this roof, I am doing these scallop panels. I'm doing the thicker ones on the actual roof, and this thinner one is like just a border that can go on the house part, the main front of the house. So it took 9 strips of those scallops to fill up my roof, and one more skinny one, a 10th one at the top to complete the look. So there you go. I also made sure I put them as far apart as I could when I glued them down so I could use less pieces. I trimmed off the excess so it curved along the same line as the box. And now I'm just folding on all the scored lines. You could put the box together and then continue to decorate it, or decorate it like this, but I really wanted to see the scored lines. It helps me keep things inside that rectangle of space that I'm working with. So I glued down the door, being very careful to only get the glue on the outer frame so my door could open, and then I'm going to add these 2 windows on either side. So the one with the witch and the one that has just the curtain in it. Now for the lantern, there is a fallout piece that you can paper piece inside the lantern, or it also die cuts a piece that's a little bigger so you could glue it to the back. So you could do either one, and I just did yellow cardstock for mine, like the yellow cardstock I put behind my jack-o'-lanterns. And you can have these pumpkins like they're sitting on the steps. I think it's so cute. And my solid pumpkins I die cut from a little darker cardstock for a little more contrast, and it just makes the scene to have those pumpkins sitting on the steps. I love that. And then here is my window for the roof. It really helps bring that section to life. I love it with the pointy top. All right, then the boarded up windows are going to be on the side of the house. I think my favorite part about this is the windows with the flickering candle mica spray, that the color is lighter in some spots and darker in others. Ooh, love it. All right, so I put one of the ghosts on the inside of the door, and then it's time to, I don't know if I would call it bringing everything to life, but I decided I needed a little shadow around that window so it stood out from the shingles of the roof a little bit more. So I brought in a distress crayon. I don't remember the color. It's a gray one. And it's the mica crayons. And then I liked that so much, I added it to the shingles. I liked that so much, I brought in the purple crayon, and I'm just like going to town, rubbing this on, and it really adds to that distress look, but also adds an element of shine. And there are some ways that you hold this box and it doesn't really look shiny, but in the pictures in the end, you'll see when you turn it in the light, it is very shiny from that mica. So, not only are the crayons cool because I could smudge them on there on these little tiny pieces, and I even smudged some orange and yellow on the pumpkins to really make them glow. It was just so much fun. I like literally could not stop with the distressed crayons. I don't know if you guys have played with I can't say that word, distress crayons before, but if you have, leave us a comment below and tell us your favorite way to play with distress crayons, because I think we all need like some inspiration to use them in different ways. All right, so now it's time to put the box together using the last flap. You just fold it over so it lines up, and now it's completed except for the bottom. We put the bottom together last. Now we just need to put adhesive, like I use liquid glue on those wider flaps so that there's liquid adhesive and the double stick tape, and then really just press those together with your fingers. And then the last section, I use a crease tool to press down from the inside and make sure everything is really stuck down and dry. And then I put the little side flaps over the little bump outs in the handle. All right, like I told you, I was obsessed with this distress crayon thing. So I wanted there to be that shiny, concentrated color on the edges of the box. I think it just really helps it look more haunted, more distressed. I love it. And then here's the part where I added color to the pumpkins themselves. I even took that yellow and I just really smeared it out so there's like a glow around the pumpkins, like they're actually lit up. I loved it. And then I thought I can't leave the ghost out, so I just put a little crayon on my finger, rubbed it on there, and now he's a little shiny and a little purple, and it's so much fun playing with those crayons. You have to try it. Okay, so for the handle, I found some black, it's like organza type ribbon with sparkle in it at the thrift store. My kids love to shop for thrifted clothes, and I found myself some ribbon. I was quite pleased. So it's very Halloween-like. I had to add it to my boxes today, and I just stuck it on the handle with a glue dot so it doesn't have to be removed when you open and close the box to get out the little treat. Can you see how shiny this is? It's so gorgeous and so cute. All right, now let's move on to playing with this box in a different way by adding on the shaker box element. So this is a whole nother die set. It's kind of tricky to know which die is which. So there is a full tutorial on this that I did for Trinity Stamps that you can find. I'll link it in the description box and at the end of this video. But this die right here has a nice guide so you can cut out the window, but you have to do it with the two boxes hooked together, the two pieces hooked together, because this shaker window is going to extend past the fold. It's like a 3D window. It's very, very cool. All right, so now we're going to splatter this box. I'm using some more mica spray stain on this one. I used a lighter purple than the super dark purple cardstock I used on the previous card so that I could add all this splatter. This is the newest mica colors. There was a 3-pack of like a really dark purple, this gray color, and a green, and oh my goodness, I loved them all, so I splattered all of them over the top so we'd have different colors, but they're not too bright. They're really subtle, so it's really a fun look, and I'm going to be adding a bunch of stuff to this box. I know it looks so crazy right here, but it will dry back and not be as intense with the splatter, but a lot of it's going to get covered up. So next I am creating the frame. There's like a double lined die there, a double rectangle. That's the frame, and then this piece is going to go in the background of the shaker box. You'll see when I put it all together. This right here creates the window sheet with the scored lines to go in that opening of the box. And then finally we have the shaker box itself. This is the piece that's going to allow us to create a shaker behind that window, and it's got to have these weird sides because of how that box wraps. The shaker window wraps around the side of the treat box itself. So let's put this together. We're going to take that rectangular piece and put that in the background of this box. Now you don't have to do this step if you don't want to, but it's kind of nice if you want to add a patterned paper piece or whatever. You have the perfect size that you can do that. And then I decided to add some curtains to the top of this box so they would kind of hang down in the window. Now it's time for a disclaimer. This that I am creating right now is not the end product. This final project right here, this shaker box, went so far wrong. I ended up redoing the whole thing, and because it went wrong, I just completely redesigned the shaker box altogether, but I felt it was still of some value because I do a really cool thing in this. So we'll get to that, but let's get back to what I'm doing right here, which is adding double stick tape to all the flaps, and that's going to allow you to stick it to the window. Next, I have this piece of window sheet that is a 1/2 inch scored right down the middle at a 1/4 inch. I put adhesive on one side and not the other, and I'm sticking that down to that front. It's like the bottom flap of this box because I wanted some things to appear like they're in the middle of the box and not just glued to the back. So this is the idea that I really wanted to show you, even though this is not the end result. This is not the box I actually end up doing. But stuck to that window sheet piece right there, I added my pumpkins, my jack-o'-lanterns, and a ghost. Now, these are the perfect little accents, you know, from the haunted house add-on set to throw in here. But in the end, it didn't work, and it's mostly operator error. So what you want to do is remove the adhesive on the 3 sides. You're going to leave one side open because you need to be able to add your shaker bits. So make sure that you do that. And then you're going to just add the window sheet to this box. Now these side flaps are going to go on the side, you know, past the scored line. The straight pieces, the longest pieces, are going to go on the front side of the window sheet. Like that. I left the bottom open. I really should have left the top open, but I'm going to add these Hocus Pocus confetti pieces. There's different colors of purple and orange, and then silver and white, and stars. They're iridescent. They're so cool. Then once those are inside, I can now secure the bottom piece. So this part is all fine. I got the adhesive backing off finally, put it all together, and it's really good. But the window sheet that I used is a little bit flimsy, so it felt a little warped in one spot. So here, when I'm adding it to the back of the treat box, one portion of this somehow got a little off. And also, mica spray is kind of it kind of sticks to your adhesive and makes it not as sticky, kind of like a powder. And so the part that I got a little bit off opened up my shaker box, and all my shaker bits fell out, and because it was off, it wouldn't allow me to close the bottom. It was too far down at the bottom. All my shaker bits fell off. That side was just wonky. The shaker bits stuck. I tried to glue it. I tried to fix it. No. And then it just was the elements seemed too small. I didn't like how it turned out. There wasn't enough contrast. I wanted it to look like a little Halloween shop with the ragged curtains in the window. It was just not working for me. And the fact that it completely fell apart, I tried to just keep going, which is my motto. And sometimes I have to walk away from something and come back to it later. You can see here I'm adding the frame around the window when I was still trying to keep going and see if I could make it work. Nope, so I came back early the next morning. I mean early. It was still dark outside. That's why the coloring looks different. And I dissected the box. I was able to salvage my shaker bits, my ghost, my witch, my little pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns, and I'm going to assemble this a different way. One of our design team members, Shanna, had done the shaker box this way, where you add the window sheet to the back of the box instead of adding it to the actual shaker box. And so I decided to try that, and I wanted a little more contrast. I'm going in a little bit different direction. I did want to add these characters from the Trick or Treat stamp set to the first box. And just like see where it took me. So I went ahead and stamped these. I'm using Villainous Potion Distress Oxide ink to stamp out all of these little cute images. There's silhouettes of trick-or-treaters plus this giant trick-or-treat word. I know that's not going to fit on my box, but the dies are really cool for this set because it cuts out each of those words individually, so I can place them wherever I want. So that's what I'm going to do to salvage this treat box. Like I mean, it went so wrong. I was so frustrated. It wasn't looking good. But in the end, I'm so happy that I just came back to it, salvaged what I could, even though it looked crazy on the backside. Once you stick everything down, it's not noticeable at all. So I am using my salvaged jack-o'-lanterns there on the inside, and I put the word treat on the inside. And here's another thing that really helped me when putting this together. I'm going to do the long side first, and I can line that up with the scored line of the bottom of the box and the score lines on the sides, and make sure that I get it placed right and that it's not overlapping any scored lines that it should not. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing on the other long side and do the two long sides first. And this helped me get it squared up so much better than the way I added it before. And I've made these before and haven't had as much trouble, but I liked adding it this way so much better. I am definitely going to be doing this method for putting the shaker box together from now on. It was so much better. So then I folded up the side and closed up that one side. I left the smaller end of one side open, and then I just used my tidy tray and I was able to pour in my shaker bits. Just like that. I also, the flaps on the end, the large flap on the end is a little bit wider than all of the rest, and that really helps close things up. I added 2 pieces of rip and stick tape to that, so the whole entire flap is covered with that double stick tape. And then just folded up the final side. And yeah, it is so much better. It's squared up, it's sturdy, there was no gap, everything folded over nicely. Now I can put that final side together, and all of my kind of ripped paper is going to now be covered. Now I did have one little piece right here on the side, didn't quite get lined up, so I just snipped that away, and then I was able to fold up and glue the bottom together just as it should be. And then you can see all my dried spray mica. Looks so fun. But we still have things to add to the outside of this box. I'm now so happy that I went ahead and salvaged it, because that paper I worked so hard to splatter and spray. It was so pretty. So I added Trick to the top of the box, and the or is going to be on the top of that shaker box, but the back of the top part of the word or is not stuck down to anything. So it kind of like stands up a little bit, and that's going to give me the opportunity to put something there. So back to my little trick-or-treat kids, I put the silhouette of the cat on the front. I also decided to stamp my spider in a lighter color, that's wilted violet, so it was a contrast. And then the trick-or-treat kids are going to be on the sides of the box, like they're running around. So that gives a little something special to the side as well. I think they're really cute. All right, so for the word or, because of how it sticks up, I decided to add a little ghost behind there, so it has a really fun 3D effect on the front. I have a couple more pumpkins salvaged from my previous box that I glued to the front, and they are really cute, little orange accent to the outside. And then I'm going to add one more ghost to the front of the box, and then I still had my witch from the previous project, and I stuck that on the back just as kind of a little surprise. It kind of blends in a little bit, but might be something you could notice later, like maybe if I do a little sentiment on the back, you'd see it there. So I added another of those bows made with that sparkly black ribbon for my second treat box. And I'm not kidding, this box is so fun to decorate. I love doing the shaker box. I'm so glad that I played with it and found a better way to put it together. And thanks to Shanna for that idea. I love it. And the haunted house die set is so very cute. You can keep it more simple and not add all the shingles to the roof if you want to do it a little bit faster. But you just die cut the paper and stick it down if you want. It is a blast. So thank you for stopping by. I hope that I've given you some inspiration for that new spooky treat box add-on die set and the treat box in general. Thanks for watching. I'll be back again next week with another video right here on Trinity Stamps. Bye.